Hi viewers, welcome to a new episode of Business Compass. Business Compass, as you know, is the GPS for your business, and we nurture, we coach, we support, we mentor young business entrepreneurs. And it's produced by Fiducia Services Limited. This week we're doing something different on Business Compass. We're following up with some of the companies we featured in season 1. We want to see how well they've done. We want to see whether they followed the advice that they got, and we want to see whether they brought the trotro back to the studio. And our first return guest is Bayer Yam Chips. I don't know if you remember them from season 1. We're going to show you a little clip from when they first came here, and we want to find out what has happened differently. A lot of startups always think, when I get to this level, then I'll be better structured. But it's also the fact that you are not better structured that is stopping you from getting to that level.
You should always remember that your funding is linked to your operations. They go together. So you might be looking for funding. If your operations aren't A-OK, you lose a lot of that money in waste. So always put the two together.
Many times people borrow and don't think about repaying. They just think, I'm putting it into the business and let's see what happens. No. You now work on your cash flows. The banks or the investor is looking at what kind of monies will come in from selling these things.
The key things I'm taking from this program is about finances, how to keep my finances in order and how to have proper bookkeeping, because this will help me to secure funding for the business. So that's one of the key things I took from it. Moving forward, I'm going to, operational wise, I'm going to streamline things to make sure that they are very hygienic. And also, I am now going to be, as I put my house in order, going to look for investors who are going to come in and to help us to push the business forward.
You all saw what we saw. Richard, yes. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
The last time you were in the chair, were you masked up like this?
No.
You were not?
Actually, I had a face mask.
You had a face, okay, you had the shield up.
Yeah, okay. Shield up, yeah.
Okay, so Mrs. Monakote and Mr. Jantu are here to help me do the follow-up with you. Welcome, guys.
Thanks,
Charlotte.
How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for always making time for our young business
people. It's always
people.
good to be here to help
out. Good to be here.
Okay, Richard, the last time you came, we gave you a truck.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Okay, actually, I couldn't bring it today.
Didn't we say you should never leave your side? What was on your truck, though?
Strategy.
Strategy.
Yes.
So, have you implemented any new strategy?
Yes, we have.
Okay, let me just recall what we told you. We talked about paying attention to hygiene and making sure that your staff are trained to handle food properly. I remember Mr. Janta talked extensively about your premises, making sure that it's healthy, it's hygienic, it's international standard. And we gave you a lot of ideas about managing your cash flows, looking at bulk packaging so that you could do more volumes with lower packaging costs. And I remember Mr. Jantua talked about your packaging and how to position for the international, the export market, yes. And we also talked about collaboration and going into partnerships and putting your finances in order. Are your finances in order now?
Yes, now we've been able to get an accountant or a part-time accountant who now looks into our books every month. So okay. What now, from the advice we got from here, what we do is every day, every expenditure that we do, we put it down, we write it, and every money that's coming in as well, we record it. So at the end of the month, the accountant take hold of it and put things together for us. So basically what we did was, from the advice we got from here, we went back to 2019. The accountant now compiled everything together. So now we're able to know the year at the end of 2019. So
are you up to date now?
Yes. So they are just about to finish 2020's own.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you doing better?
Yes, we are doing better, actually. I think the advice we got here helped us so much that we realized 2019, this is what we did. In 2020, we have been able to know what we have accumulated.
Did you do better in 2020 compared to 2019?
Yes, we did better.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's actually helped us to know that the company is growing actually.
I remember one of the things that came up in the last discussion was somebody wanting to invest money in the business and you didn't know whether to go ahead or not. What happened with that?
Okay, so actually with the advice we took from here, we gave him the opportunity to go use his own branding. We will package it for him.
Okay, I think that, yes, that
was the advice.
So you're doing that?
So
you're collaborating?
Yeah, we did that for him, but he could not, he's not been able to sell more. Sustain it, yeah.
Okay, Mona,
Interesting. Welcome, Richard. And how is Rock City Kasua?
Oh, yeah, doing well there. we have done a whole improvement from last time.
Nice.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Good.
Improvement to your premises?
Yes, the premises, yes.
Okay. So that's good to know, because we thought the premise was a little shabby for a place that was producing food for the public. So we are glad that you've made that change, and I'm sure it will go out in your next video and people will see that you've improved that. Your vision, when you left here, did you modify or did you still keep to this big vision of moving into East and West Africa, North and South Africa, UK, US, European countries? Is the vision still the same, or has it been modified?
I think our vision is still the same of we want to reach the ends of the world with our Bayer Yam.
Oh, so now it's even bigger.
Okay, it's even bigger.
Yes, but I think with what we learned from here, we need to take our time to build our standard here in Ghana.
Your structures.
The structures here in Ghana first.
So that you can
once we are
leapfrog
solid here, it will be easier for us to now move
scale
on to
up.
the rest of the...
Tell us, is the demand still strong outside Ghana? Is there still a strong demand for yam sticks or chips uncooked?
Yes, there's demand, because people who see us on social media, who are out there, are always making inquiries.
Okay. And do those inquiries translate into orders?
Actually, we've done some orders, not large quantity orders, but especially people in the UK and Europe.
Okay. I am asking you these because I see that your turnover from 2018-19 to 19-20 actually doubled.
Yes.
You sold more. And I know it's not all price that has gone up, but quantity must have increased. So you've done more in terms of sales. Did you also make more profit margin? Not absolute numbers, but the percentage. Did you make a better profit in 19-20 than 18-19?
Okay, with 2018...
Because I know the price of yam has gone up, not
Yes.
because of the yam itself, but even sometimes the logistics.
Yeah.
The cost of fuel has been going up almost every 2 weeks.
Actually, things have really
So
gone up.
I know that your materials may have.
Yeah, so 2018, 2019, we couldn't compare figures really well, but if I compare 2019 to 2020, I'll say our profit margin was a bit better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So profit margin was a bit better. Demand is still strong.
Demand is
so
still
the
strong,
business
yes.
can be sustainable if you can supply into it. Are you also easily getting from your vendors the yams, the cocoa yam? Is that coming in easily?
Yes, with the yam and actually the raw materials, it's not difficult to get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't have a challenge.
A challenge with that.
The only, I think the only small challenge we have is our sweet potato.
Yes,
Okay.
because I keep looking for that one to buy. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't like yam and
Yeah.
I never find it.
Yeah, you know, sweet potato, we have two different flesh. We have the white one and the yellow one. And I think people love more of the yellow one
Than the one.
than the white
Me, I
one.
like any. Just make any available.
So last two things that to catch up on. There was funding. You needed more funding. You
Yes.
talked about this arrangement. It didn't go through. Was there any other funding that came in, or is funding still an issue? Were you able to access funding, or is that still on the table that needs to be done? And then the last one was, you talked about professional help, needing that. You seem to have got someone to start helping you now. Do you have enough professional help, or is that still an issue for discussion?
Okay, so first, funding is still an issue that we have not been able to get.
I'm actually not surprised, and I'll tell you why. But you go on.
Yeah, so funding is still an issue. And then secondly, we still need professional help in terms of negotiation and other kind of things.
So for your finances, for your legal, for everything concerning the business and its growth. Yeah. So Charlotte, clearly, even with the numbers we got, there is still a lack of proper financials for any financial institution to review and determine how well you are doing, to be able to lend to you knowing that you can repay. There's still also no evidence of strong track record. We are still talking about 18, 19, 19, 20. It's still too short. Most financiers would want to see 3 to 5 years of record. You still don't have that. So you are still going to have to grow organically, but show you are still in the mode where you must prove that indeed if someone gave you their money, you could grow the money. You haven't yet proven that, but you're on track.
Okay.
And therefore, that's
Kwame.
it.
Thank you, Mona. Kwame.
Yes, nice to see you again, Richard.
Thank you.
I want to find out, have your processes of processing your product, have they changed?
Yes, we have.
So what have you brought in that has changed it?
Okay, so basically our infrastructure that we had there, we have upgraded things.
That's good. Where did you get the money from?
Okay, actually, it's just friends been borrowing bits and pieces from friends, and also the little also the little of profits that we get from the business, we reinvest it. We actually always reinvesting the little bit of profit that we get monthly into the process of making it.
So would you say the handling of the process has reduced?
Yes.
So what
As in the human interaction?
Yes, what new thing have you brought in to reduce that?
Any equipment?
Yes, okay, so we have a machine that cuts the yam. Yeah, and then secondly, also we have a metal detector available that goes through, that we pass all the product through before we take it out.
What does that do?
To detect any in terms of any metal that you might have in the product. Since we are a machine is a metal that's cutting the yarn.
Oh, okay.
A chip might break and might hide inside it. So
you've improved your quality controls, basically. Okay.
Yes.
I take it that one of the strong points of you coming back is to show our viewers that you've come, you've gone, you have improved, and you're going to build up further, which is a good thing not only for you but for all of those at home watching us. So you can be a yardstick for the others. In terms of your market, has it changed?
Our markets have changed a little bit, but COVID...
Define a little bit.
Okay. In terms of our main market was the restaurant. The restaurants and the supermarket. Supermarket, we've added a few more supermarkets to it, because at first we were only at the mainstream, but we have now gone down to a bit of the cold stores. We are targeting more of the cold stores.
Are you also in some of the convenience stores, the shell shops and things like that?
We are working on that areas as well. Yes, and our target was to get more into more restaurants, but because of COVID, them shutting down, not people going down to eat a lot, so that has also brought their orders quite down a little bit. Yeah.
In terms of your strength, your staff strength, when I say staff strength, I mean the upper class of your business, the technical. Are you sitting around the table to talk every week, to look at the direction? Is that happening, or you do it every month?
We do it. We don't do it every month, but at least we have a process where, like, every quarter we will meet, because most of the people who are advisors or directors of the company, people know we don't pay them, but they are kind of helpers who comes in. So we arrange a time that's convenient for them. Then we will sit down, and then we will now bring out our issues.
So there's interaction going on.
Yes, basically.
In terms of delegation, are you controlling a lot of things, or you've been able to delegate to others to also help you?
Actually, I have delegated a lot of it too.
So what are some of the things you've delegated?
Okay, so basically, like the marketing side,
Okay.
yeah, I've got somebody who is taking care of marketing. And in terms of business management, I am mainly in charge of everything. I go about doing everything, but I've got somebody in charge of marketing who's looking after that area. And then factory-wise, I've got a manager in the factory who his sole job is to control whatever we are doing in the
Quality
factory.
control.
Yes.
Okay.
So those
That's
are the
good.
things that we have put in place.
Okay. Will we wrap up?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're out of time.
Okay. All right. So, lastly, as Auntie Charlotte to say, my pet area, AFCFTA, the African Free
Have you heard of
Continental.
that?
Have you
Yes,
heard
I
of
have.
it?
Actually, I have.
Have you researched into it?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So research into it, get yourself ready. 1.3 billion people is a lot of chips that you can do and supply. And I think it's a good area. So look into it and see how best you can get financing ready to export out into Africa.
Thank you very
But
much.
well done.
Thank you.
I also think Richard has done well. He followed the track we gave him.
Yeah.
So because we said strategy, he decided to focus only on strategy. And it's almost like he wants another truck today, but he's not going to get it. You've done well with strategy, but I don't think with structure.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, it's a clear inconsistency. When we ask about your board, you say you don't have a board of directors yet. And you're still looking for funding to be able to strengthen the structure of the business. Just a quick point there. You're not going to get funding to strengthen until you put the board in place. So it is the board that shows that you have a structure with independent directors, and that's what helps you get the funding to expand the business. So you are taking it, you've turned it upside down. You're not going to, you want to get funding, and then you use the funding to put a board in place, but it's the board that attracts the funding. But while you tell us you don't have a board, when we look at your finances, you have a line item for directors' fees.
Yes.
So who are these directors who are taking fees when you actually do not have a board? So it still shows me that there are still challenges with structure. And like we were saying earlier, yes, we want to see a track record, 3 to 5 years. Investors also want to see a structure. And I still think, and I did the first time you came, that you are one business that would really benefit a lot from having independent funding put in there. Taking bits and pieces from friends is not helping you grow because they are not forcing you to do it right.
That's right.
You need a structure. You need to get your structure right, and then all these other things would follow. Don't ignore the structure. So we are really happy to have had you back.
Thank you.
We think you've done well. You really did take the advice. You implemented all the strategic issues that we said.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
And we're still going to be keeping our eyes on you. We're still watching you.
Okay.
So thank you. Thank you for coming back. Thank you,
Thank you as
Mona.
well.
Thank you, Kwame.
Oh, it's a
When we
pleasure.
come back, a new panel is going to join me, and we'll be looking at a new, not a new business, another guest from the past, one of our featured businesses from season 1. So please stay with us. There's still a lot to learn.
Immediately the product was actually introduced to me, I wanted to get on it, and that was the Gold Check account, guys. This has actually changed my business. So on the First National Bank app, you have the business toolkits that gives you all the information that you need to run your business, and whatever inquiries you have, they're always ready to answer. And that makes life very easy for me. And you have the in contacts that helps you access every transaction that takes place or happens. Now, point of sales terminal, I market wherever I go, and so I love to have that so I can take payment, especially with those who tell me I do not have cash. A bank that understands that you can start life all over again or start a business from scratch. Very keen on running it and making sure that you grow to the core. It's one you should look out for. My name is Jifa Bekwe-Gray, the CEO of Jifa Gray Creations. I recommend that you sign up to the Gold Check account from First National Bank for a great banking experience.
the occasion. With ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.
Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back from the break, and this is still the follow-up edition of Business Compass, and we have a new guest in the studio coming back from season 1, and we're going to follow up on how well she's done since she was last here. And I've now been joined by Frank and Petra, two of my regular panelists, who are coming to help us do the follow-up with 2 businesses. So, Frank, welcome. Petra, welcome.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure to have you back in the studio, Trudy.
Thank you.
Viewers, I'm sure you remember Mrs. Trudy Boating of Studio 7, who was with us in season 1 of Business Compass. So tell us, after your first appearance, how did that go?
It's been going well.
Was it useful to you in any way?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Extremely useful. I feel like the business has been taken to another level.
Fantastic.
You know, especially with the advice I got from here. Okay. You know, and I'm actually giving others, you know, similar pointers that you gave me.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well done.
And yeah.
I remember one of your key challenges was bookkeeping and separating yourself from the business. How are you doing now?
Oh, fantastically. I can say. You know, I feel like, you know, something is just taking off. A burden is just lifted off me.
Okay.
So I got an accountant who, he's on retainer.
Okay.
He comes in every week to check the books with my manager. So they go through all the books, all the deposits, all the expenses that's been made. Like, we're basically keeping very good track of the
And now you can
finances.
also see where you're doing well, which areas you're not doing well.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
I know Frank is itching to ask you about your rent.
Please
From
ask
season
me.
1.
Please ask me.
Rent in dollars.
Please ask me.
Is your rent still in dollars?
No, it is not.
Okay.
You
How
moved.
do you feel now?
Okay, so we moved to a new location. I don't know if I mentioned the last time I was here, yes. And so I had a meeting with my landlord who, after consideration, actually put the rent in cities now. So it's stabilized. There's no fluctuations with the
And not only
exchange
that,
rate.
you're paying, your expenses are now matching your receivables.
Exactly.
Because you're receiving in cities and you're paying rent in
cities, yeah.
Fabulous, fabulous. And I've seen your new premises. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Very
thank
in
you.
line with the brand.
Thank you.
Petra.
So, I watched the episode. I actually mentioned to Charlotte that's one of the most pleasant episodes of Business Compass.
Oh,
I
thank
experienced you and your brand, and there was just this alignment.
Thank
and I've
you.
experienced
Thank
the
you
brand
so
because I've
much.
been to your studio.
Yes,
and the experience
you
was
have.
really wonderful. One of the pieces of advice that you left with the last time was about tracking your customers.
Yes.
How's that going?
Okay, so it's something we're still working on.
Okay.
It's something we're still working on because we've had quite an inflow of new customers, yes, and we switched managers, a couple of managers, you know, since I was last here.
Okay.
So how the transition with the managers and them having to catch up with the clients and all of that, it's been a bit, but the current one, who's really good, is catching up. So we are catching up to that as well.
It's something you still need to keep your eye on. And I don't think you should just leave it to the manager. The
Yes.
personal connection is important.
Yes,
You must stay connected to the business and to your customers.
I do
So-
that as well.
You basically want to tell us you've addressed all the challenges with
Well, I believe so. Since I was last here, yes. Now trying to.
you. Or you implemented all the advice.
Yes, I did actually. Absolutely, I did.
Did you get a tax expert? We told you to get a tax expert to advise you.
Yes. So I did. I did actually. I went back and looked at the whole VAT, all of that. Yes. So I did.
So if the taxman visits you now, would you be able to show with your account to say, I don't owe you? or-
Now she
Absolutely,
can justify.
absolutely.
She's
Okay.
inviting
Absolutely.
you.
Every month they take their taxes. there's a system in place now, so everything, all outflows, taxes, all of that goes out on time. So
Okay, so now you are ready to get even
expand,
bigger.
yes, scale
What
up.
challenges are you anticipating? Can we help in any way?
The challenge now is, I don't know who to pass, whether it's half me or half my staff, or it's a mix of both. Because I'm looking at scaling up the business, and I'm looking at the bigger picture, and basically looking at the business side of things. I always, try and speak to my staff, to implement some of these things. They do it for a while, and then they just drop the ball again. So when I think, okay, we've got this under control, let me focus on other things, and then they just relax,
I'm saying
So
two
client
things. It may be-
retention, yeah.
It may be that you also need to organize a team building exercise with them,
Yeah.
and probably challenges you work almost all the time, but the next time there's like a long weekend over a holiday, maybe you can consider having a little retreat. It doesn't have to be out of town, doesn't have to be too fancy, but sometimes time away from the premises
Yeah.
helps everybody see the bigger picture, and then you now do a vision session with them. The vision is with you, and I've had talks with you, so I know there's a big vision, but you need to help them see that vision.
Absolutely.
And see themselves as partners in rolling out that vision.
Absolutely.
So at this point it's all in your head, and you're just giving instructions. They can't see what you are seeing. So you need team building, but you need them to also be part of the vision bearers, see the vision you're seeing, and be partners in delivering that. That may help. Then after that, you can now do the training, and you have to keep training. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
Petra, yeah.
She left the last in season 1 with the track that said track.
Yes.
I think it boils down to tracking again. What gets measured gets done. If they don't know that, if they feel that you would check 3 times a week and then the other 4 times they can get away with it, they would decide not to do it. And it's just, we can't rely on people's good nature or that they will do the right thing or good memory.
Yeah.
So it's just really tracking. And it might have to be the business manager or the salon manager who is actually like a supervisor, making sure everybody does the right thing. It could also be cultural, where we feel that when someone is being too persistent on the right thing being done, then they're being difficult. But in the setting that you're in, for standards and service quality, you really have to
have... In a pandemic era?
Yeah.
You really have to have someone who is just paying attention with checklists and not relying on their memory, but someone who is actually going through a checklist and saying that, okay, we're supposed to do 10 things every day, and we've done these 10 things, and we can sign off and say, yes, it's been done. So very, very basic things, like when you talk about being in a pandemic, how many times are they wiping off surfaces? How many times are they replacing things they're supposed to replace? And is it being done? Because then they might fall into the thing of, oh, it doesn't really matter. And it's just that one slip you need to create a problem. So I would say, let's go back to the track. Somebody needs to just be paying attention. And it might not, if you feel that it's too much work, extra work for the salon manager, you might get an intern, a young person who does their job to just make sure that all of the things you want them to do, the checklist is being done, and someone is taking responsibility for the key items. And when it comes to, and in customer service as well, you might want to do what we call blueprinting. You create a framework written down of what you expect them to do. So when a customer walks in, this is what we have to say. Like going into a shop in the US or UK, you sometimes get tired with
because everybody's telling you
saying the same thing. Yes, so we can modify it a bit to make it suitable for our environment, but it has to be consistent. So when someone walks in, what do we say? What information do we take from them, and how do we make sure that we've taken it? And you track as well. So at the end of the week, you ask them, okay, how many people walked in today? How many phone numbers, email addresses, how many contacts do we have? And you're checking that it doesn't have to be complicated. And even
cross-selling, how many other services did you talk to them about?
Exactly. So the cross-selling is also very important in a business like yours, where I might walk in and say I want to have a pedicure, but they can convince me to do so many other things, whether on the spot or later. And it's a skill that you can teach them, because if you don't intentionally do it, they don't get the sense they have to do it. And the idea is that they should take more money from the people who walk in than they are expected to spend.
Thank you. That's really great advice, Petra. Thank you. But I was also wondering, Frank, Is it possible for Trudy to tie this to remuneration?
Yeah.
As in this week, so rather than the stick or the talking, because this person met all the targets or did all the things she was supposed to do, she gets this little perk for this week. Would that work?
Yes. So I mean, like I think Charlotte mentioned, let them feel part of the business, part of ownership. Let them be part of a team building, and then they know that, oh, this shop is supposed to make this amount of revenue. If they hit that target, their bonus or reward is this. Yeah. And then the reward is based on meeting some of the basic administrative
or the extra things we want them to do.
Yeah, extra things we want to do. So yes, you've met the revenue well, but have you met the little things you're supposed to do? Maybe get the contact of any person who comes in, follow up with a call a day or two after. Have they been doing that? And then once they see that it's tied to money coming to them, trust me, everybody.
Or a peck or whatever.
A peck. It could be at the end of the month, best worker award, which could be maybe a treat. They themselves will do their hair for free. I don't know whether they do it for free now. They do their hair for free.
A week.
Okay. Yeah, something. Or they can recommend a friend to come for free or a sibling to do something for free. And people will chase that, and you should be fine. But again, because you are growing, it's about systems. So whatever you put in one organization, make sure it could be replicated in others, so that anytime I enter into any Studio 7, and I get that same consistent feel of services. Yeah,
absolutely. So, does this help?
A lot, a ton. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, what's the message? You're going to keep tracking. So now, the message the first time was tracked, but we were concerned about your numbers.
Finances, yes.
And now you are tracking the numbers. So now you're now going to be tracking something different.
Yes.
The customer service, the experience of the clients, how many people are following up on the clients' feedback, all the little things that make clients happier.
Yeah.
And when we track that, I'm almost certain it would get done, because it also forces you to go back and check it. And they would even remind you when there's a little perk tied to it.
Yeah, they definitely will.
Lovely to have had you back.
Thanks for having
me.
And
you know we're always here. You don't have to wait to come into the studio.
I know.
You can call at any time, send a message out for help.
I know. And I will. I feel like I'm now...
Go forth and conquer.
I will. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Viewers, that was Studio 7. Mrs. Trudy Boateng was back in the studio. It's been a lovely conversation. We're going to go listen to Coach Bell, and when we come back, we're going to have a new follow-up guest in the studio.
Welcome to Coach's Corner on Business Compass. Today's tip is on maintaining a positive outlook. This ability to see the good in a challenging situation is the emotional intelligence competence called positive outlook. Positive outlook refers to our ability to see the best in people, situations, and events. When people have positive outlook, they see the glass half full, cultivate positive emotions in challenging moments, pursue their goals no matter what life throws their way, focus on what is working, see the best in themselves, leverage strengths in order to solve problems and create productive outcomes. In the words of Harvey Mackay, an optimist understands that life can be a bumpy road, but at least it is leading somewhere. They learn from mistakes and failures, and they are not afraid to fail again. End of quote. You have the power to choose positive outlook. Thank you.
Immediately the product was actually introduced to me, I wanted to get on it, and that was the Gold Check account, guys. This has actually changed my business. So on the First National Bank app, you have the business toolkits that gives you all the information that you need to run your business, and whatever inquiries you have, they're always ready to answer. And that makes life very easy for me. And you have the in contacts that helps you access every transaction that takes place or happens. Now, point of sales terminal, I market wherever I go, and so I love to have that so I can take payment, especially with those who tell me I do not have cash. A bank that understands that you can start life all over again or start a business from scratch. Very keen on running it and making sure that you grow to the core. It's one you should look out for. My name is Jifa Bekre Gray, the CEO of Jifa Gray Creations. I recommend that you sign up to the Gold Check account from First National Bank for a great banking experience.
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.
Thank you, Coach Bell, and welcome back, viewers, from Coach's Corner. Now joining us is another guest from season 1, Vivi's Dance Factory, and we have a very delightful Vivi. Vivi, welcome back to Business Compass.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you've seen familiar people.
Yes.
Hey, do you remember what we told you the last time you were here?
Yes, I remember.
What was your truck again? What did it say on your truck?
Focus.
Focus. Have you been focused?
Yes, very much.
So tell us, what have you done differently?
So the vision of Vivi's Dance Factory is to help young people to become the a better version of themselves through dance. And I realized that, well, it takes more than passion to do that, because I was leading with pure passion but without structure and all that, and that's what Business Compass came in to help me to do. So now you learned that passion plus structure equals profit. Yes, please. Okay. Are we making profit now? Now we are making profit. Yay. So we are in a good place, because this time around I was again checking my numbers, because you kept talking about that. Bookkeeping has helped me to know exactly where we are. Okay, what expenses to cut, what am I spending more on, what do I need to reduce, and all that. So it's really helped me. Oh, you've made me so happy. I'm sure Frank is happy too.
Happy. That's great. Great. So bookkeeping is good now. So now you're able to get your monthly financials done and things like that. Okay. Yes, and I now work with the budgets. It's also again one thing. So that's controlling you. That's also controlling how I spend. Because again, I was just doing everything out of passion. Oh, let's do this. I mean, once it's going to make it look good, once it's going to bring positive results, let's just do it. But now I'm taking decisions based on what is on the table, and not just work out of emotions or passion. Have you put the vision for the business on paper? It is, but what I haven't done is to put it out there, on the wall, which I plan to. No, but have you put it down on paper even for yourself? Yes, please. Because now at least that is driving you. Then you're not getting distracted. Fantastic. Yes. Do you need any help with marketing? Petra is still here to help. Yes, I think that's also another area that I need to really fine tune, because I feel it's all over the place. I just post things without any proper strategy. I think I need to put a strategy to it. Okay, this is the target market. How do we get to them? Okay, who is the target market? Currently, children.
You know, so and then again,
but you're targeting their parents.
You have to get to the
parents of young children.
Parents, yes.
How can we help Vivi?
I looked at your Instagram page. I didn't look at Facebook. I felt it was very positive. It gave me a sense of what you do and how you do it. But I think I definitely would agree with you when you say that you need a bit more structure, because I didn't see a story, a consistent story. So just stepping back, since you know that already, stepping back and planning what you want to do. So what story do you want to tell? It was very interesting to see a lot of the things that you do. And I noticed you might have a bit of a challenge there putting out children without the approval of their parents. So you have to figure out how you can do that with the parental consent. So I noticed that you have a bit of, you have some children, but you have more adults in some of the images. But because it's a children's thing, you have to sort of get a few children with parental consent and then use those images so that their parents can see what children are able to do. The episode also gave me a good insight to what you're doing. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I was very excited when Frank said, don't let your passion become stress. So I'm hoping that you're managing that quite well.
Yes, please.
So just think about what story do you want to tell and how do you want to tell it consistently. And then what you do with social media is to structure the posts, so you can decide that for this month we are focusing on this particular area.
Or pick a theme.
Yes, pick a theme.
That may help you.
Yes, that will help you structure. Yes, and you decide that for this part. So if we're in maybe March and it's talking about Ghana, how are you teaching the Ghanaian dances?
Ghanaian dances.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be Ghanaian dances. Different types.
Different types. And what are you doing? What do you do for that? And
AU month is going to come. African dances.
Put that out. Yeah. And of course, you want to build a community. So the community will be interested in not just coming to the studio, but what else is there. Information is important. Is there information about how dance improves wellness? Because you were described as a doctor who doesn't just do, but you're solving people's wellness issues. So you can tell that story as well. Yeah, doctor of souls. Yeah. So.
Okay. Great. So we also mentioned the need to look at your compensation and know whether your teachers are employees or self-employed, and then put a structure around it so that they will be motivated to do more. Is there any changes that you've made in that area?
Yes, that's another. So that's another area I'm working on, because I think I had a conversation with them. There are some who want to be like. Who want to be fully employed, you know, to be on salary, something like that, because currently it's like a contract kind of thing, you know. So again, that's something I need advice on because of the nature of our work.
And lastly, we ask that in some instances where you need some help in terms of administrative or anything, ask among the parents if some of them will contribute in any way or form, so that they'll feel involved in the upbringing of their children. Is there any progress towards that?
Well, administratively, I'm currently handling things just to, again, make sure that I have a good structure. And then when I'm handling, I'm handing over to someone, I know exactly what I'm looking for.
You get a good grip of it yourself.
Yes, please. So, but yeah, we had our first PTA meeting, which we never, so we met the parents via Zoom, and that was a good step in that direction. The next, we are meeting them this month, this March, for parent viewing, so they can get to come into the space to watch a typical class, and then that's when we can also interact a bit more. So we are working on that.
Did you get any insights or feedback from the interaction that you were surprised at?
Well, I think for some of them, they were not sure. Okay, my child is interested in dance. She's been bothering me, so I've brought her. Whatever goes on, I don't know. So it was a good opportunity to educate them
on the value.
Yes, on the values of what we do, the discipline, the confidence we help them to build. Like we're not just teaching them to dance, but we're helping them to learn life skills, social skills.
Okay. You know what I'm thinking? When you came the first time, there was really no structure at all. It was just passion. You were teaching dance. There's been remarkable progress in the sense that now you're talking admin. You're tracking your finances. You actually know that you are profitable, and you're now thinking of the next level. How do I formalize relationship with the instructors I have? How do I build a community? What's my marketing strategy? So you've actually moved up. I think now is a time to also have a business plan.
Yes.
So that big vision you have, now let's put it into a plan. In doing the plan, you will address all these issues. You will know exactly, because you know that by the end of next year, this is my target revenue. If I'm going to be making this, then this is how I can get my instructors to make sure that they are helping me make this. Then they can be paid. Then they can have stronger contracts because you are carrying them into it now. And you would now know, because you know where you're going and which route you're taking, what you will be communicating through your marketing channels. And I even think that when you do that, you may have to revisit the channels of communication. You may actually do an exercise and find out that your targeted audience is actually on Twitter, not on Instagram or whatever. But now it's going to be a bit more scientific. So let's do the business plan, and if you need help, you know where to find us. I think that's what is actually going to, because now you've conquered the the dragon of no structure. Now that's firmly out of the way. Now we can push it up. We can scale up.
Yes, please.
And now look at all the things you talked about, opening more branches, and but I like the fact that you now have a firm grip on the structure side of the business.
Thank you.
And there's no stress now. It's just now it's profits, no stress. Passion and structure have given us profits.
Okay.
I'm happy. Any final words, guys?
All the best, Vivian. All the very best. I would say that she just mentioned something about maybe where you're communicating, you need to figure out, because and while she was saying that, something dropped in my head. There's a community of people outside of Instagram and Facebook. You may want to think about unconventional ways like LinkedIn or websites. So websites,
even schools, directly
going to schools with flyers and talking to parents. Because when you mentioned the value that dance has on confidence of the children, on the discipline of them, that's something people don't think about. So you actually have to lead the crusade.
Churches?
Lead the crusade to talk about these things so that parents can see the value. Because they see it as it's a hobby, which is a good hobby, but if it's going to teach them a life skill, I'm sure parents will be interested in getting involved. So
good advice.
Quick one. So with COVID, it impacted. So how did you manage COVID and its impacts on your business?
All right. So as soon as you get to the gate or the entrance, we have the sign there. You have to be in your nose mask. We have someone at the gate to check your temperature. You get in. You have to wash your hands, with soap and water, sanitized, and then when you get to the reception area, we've cleared the lobby, so parents are sitting outside, or we've reduced we put spaces there so that we are observing the social distancing. And then when you get inside the studio, so when students get inside the studio, we've also put spots on the floor where you have
where they can stand.
Where they can stand.
Well done, yeah.
The dance exercises where there's partnering and all that have been revised. And so now students don't hold hands or anything. If they have to skip together, they imagine, they have an imaginary partner, and then they work with them.
And you did some stuff virtual as well.
Yes, and we run virtual. We run virtual classes as well. So.
The world has changed.
I know. Well done, Vivian.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming back to Business Compass. It's been refreshing to have you back. And we're so proud of you and all the progress you've made. And we look forward to continuing to engage with you and to help you move your business even further.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Petra Samwa. Thank you, Mr. Frank Abe. Thank you, Mrs. Mona Korte, Mr. Kwame Jantwa, and Baye Yam Chips and Studio 7, who all joined us on this follow-up episode. My name is Charlotte Osei. It's been a pleasure to bring you this episode of Business Compass. We're still the GPS for your business, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. The business tips are proudly brought to you by First National Bank.
Hello everyone, my name is Mona Quote. It's such a delight to come into your homes once again to give you a business tip. Now, as an entrepreneur or a business person, as I had told you before, Ghana, West Africa and Africa is your big market. So many people, big population, and Sub-Saharan Africa alone has billions of people, and you must take advantage of that market. How do you do that? By creating capital, and we discussed how we save to create capital. Then we start our business. We start with baby steps. First step, second step. Don't be afraid. Just start. And when you do, always celebrate the little successes along the way. Celebrate them, grow them, and eventually you'll be running a fairly big organization. Of course, do what you are comfortable with. As we said earlier, no one can walk in your shoes. You do it, and you do it by yourself and within your comfort zone. So now that you have your capital, you have your business, you have your market, you have no excuse not to be wealthy. Enjoy your wealth, stay healthy, keep an open mind, and have lots of love in your heart. Remember to share whatever you have with others. So wish you all the best, and bye for now.
Immediately the product was actually introduced to me, I wanted to get on it, and that was the Gold Check account, guys. This has actually changed my business. So on the First National Bank app, you have the business toolkits that gives you all the information that you need to run your business, and whatever inquiries you have, they're always ready to answer, and that makes life very easy for me. And you have the in contacts that helps you access every transaction that takes place or happens. Now, point of sales terminal. I market wherever I go, and so I love to have that so I can take payment, especially with those who tell me I do not have cash. A bank that understands that you can start life all over again or start a business from scratch. Very keen on running it and making sure that you grow to the core. It's one you should look out for. My name is Jifa Bekwe-Gray, the CEO of Jifa Gray Creations. I recommend that you sign up to the Gold Check account from First National Bank for a great banking experience.
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.